here with Nest Happy. Thank you so much for joining us in our conversation all about bedtime routine. I am here with Karen, and I am so excited to be chatting with her. She's the mom of 3, a preschool teacher, and a parent coach who helps moms reduce their kids' challenging behavior, build connection in their family, and deal with the stress that keeps them from being the mom they want to be. Thank you so much for joining me, Karen.
Yeah, so happy to be here, Sarah. So Sarah is passionate about turning your family chaos into functional and organized systems. She's a mom of 2 young boys and takes a systems approach to set up your home thoughtfully with Uber function, with online mini courses and videos on Facebook and YouTube.
So I knew I had to chat with you, Karen, once I heard your podcast all about the morning routine and wanted to chat about bedtime. And I know a lot of our viewers are probably struggling right now with bedtime, probably more in the cooperation side of things. That's usually the first thing that, parents complain about. And I myself, my 3-year-old right now is starting to resist the whole bedtime routine. So what are your best tips for these people?
Yeah. So I guess the biggest tip would be to have a set routine for every night and to get the most cooperation from your child. Having them have a role in that is great. So if you can brainstorm all the things that need to get done before bed, like brushing your teeth and putting on your pajamas and
and then for us, we do our gummy vitamins. We have vitamins that we do. We do last potty. We call last potty, jammies, toothbrushing, and then for my younger one, we tried just to limit it to 2 books.
Yeah.
So, but sometimes I give them a choice. Like, do you recommend giving them a choice of what to do next, or what do you suggest?
Well, I think it depends on what you find works, but what the ultimate thing is that you keep it consistent. And so also, like, once you brainstorm all your steps, if your child can help you put it into a visual map, so maybe they draw pictures of like a toothbrush and a book and all that.
We did that a while back when my older one was 3. I think we did that on a big butcher board paper, and it worked really well.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be anything fancy because, in a few months when your child's at a different age and stage, you might end up changing around the routine a little bit. So just getting something down on paper, and so kids can help you draw and cut those out. Or you can, if your child's younger even, it can work to just take pictures of them doing each thing and then putting that up so they can see.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we have a little Polaroid camera that
oh my gosh.
We can totally do that.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot Polaroids were still around.
Yeah.
They came back.
Or it's called the Instamax camera.
Yeah.
It works. It's really fun.
That's fun. Yeah, and so that way your child can see what they need to get done without you having to always say, okay, now it's time to do this and that. Because kids, just like anybody else, don't always like to be told what to do.
So what else do you suggest in terms of cooperation or getting your kids to cooperate?
So throughout the day, if you can find ways that your child can be creative and get outside and have some unstructured play, that's really helpful when it comes to bedtime. So, they've already got out that energy and all those ideas. So it's a bit easier for them to be ready to unwind.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so another thing that can happen too is, bedtime is like a separation from you. So making sure you have time in your day to connect with your child.
Right.
So that they're not
trying to do one-on-one with each one, even if it's just for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, could really help with that. And I try, but sometimes I don't always do that.
Yeah, I really think it makes a huge difference. Just that small amount of time where they feel like they're the, most important thing to you and have that full attention is really important. And I feel like, it provides them the safety too, so that when they are separate from you and going to bed alone, they can still feel that safety.
Right, right.
So, Sarah, what are your tips from an organizer's perspective?
So I love the visual aspect of your plan. And one thing that I recommend, and I have three main tips for getting super efficient with your bedtime routine. And the first thing is looking at your plan. So I do give our kids a choice at this moment of what they want to do next, but I've really analyzed the flow of our bedtime routine where I put everything that we need for our bedtime routine in the actual flow of where we are in the house. So, for instance, I mentioned we do vitamins and then we do last potty and jammies and toothbrushing. So, I make sure everything is literally like right there when we need it. So, we're not crisscrossing our house or walking back and forth and disrupting any progress that you could be making in your bedtime
Yeah.
routine. So at the moment, we keep our vitamins in our bathroom vanity. So the first thing we do is we go into the bathroom and we, eat those while they go potty and all that. Another example of this is in our old space, we lived where our bathroom was in our master and their room was on the same floor, but in a separate area of the house. And I realized I was walking back and forth getting their pajamas and it was just totally taking forever. And I realized I needed to put their jammies in the drawer in the room where we're actually putting them on, right next to the bathroom in our master bedroom. And just that simple change alone dramatically increased the efficiency of the routine. So that's the number one tip is analyzing your flow, making sure you're not, crisscrossing your house. And then number two is setting yourself up with success for those physical things. So if you don't have a drawer where you're putting on your clothes, maybe make a drawer right there. Maybe put a bin with the jammies right in that room, if it makes sense. If you are doing, like vitamin gummies like ours and they're not where they should be, maybe make a new home for it. So physically setting yourself up with whatever it is in your routine with maybe a bin or a box or a simple shift in the physical items. So that kind of goes hand in hand for sure.
Yeah.
And and the last one, I don't know, does that make sense to you? Are you thinking
It does.
that
Yeah.
could be optimized in your house?
Yeah. So that's helped us a lot too, to have the kids get changed into the pajamas like right near the laundry basket,
Right,
because then they only have to just drop the stuff right in when they're
right.
changed. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Related to laundry, you put your laundry exactly where you take your clothes off. So
Yeah.
I
You don't even
love
have to pick it
over
up.
the
You just
door.
put it right in.
Yeah, one of my most recommended laundry items is an over the door hamper. So I
Mm,
can link to that in the notes for the video if that's helpful. But
yeah.
it's an amazing over the door thing that is in our bathroom and yeah, it works really, really well.
That's great. Yeah, we're fortunate our washing machine is right in our bathroom.
Oh
So
wow.
if the kids change in there, then
Yeah.
they don't even put it in the hamper, it goes right into the wash.
Hmm. And the third thing I totally recommend, and I think it goes in hand with your simplicity parenting philosophies, and it's rotating books. And so I have a book rotation system where we rotate all of the kids' books, but including bedtime books. And it really refreshes the options that the kids have when it comes to bedtime.
Mhm.
And it's super helpful because it keeps their interest high and as a parent my interest as well because
Yeah.
every week I have at least a new set of books to choose from to read so I'm not bored to tears reading Goodnight Moon for the 200th time or whatever. Not that that's Goodnight Moon is a bad book, but rotating the books really makes the reading books part really fun for everybody.
Yeah. I love reading books at night, and it's such a great way to connect, like we were just talking about earlier, and have some of that one-on-one time.
Mm-hmm.
and snuggling time. Um, and yeah, it definitely fits with the simplicity parenting philosophy of just when you rotate through the books, you don't have every single book out and as an option,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
the kids have like less overwhelm from all those choices and just really
Mm-hmm.
keeps it easy to focus on the few that they have out.
Yeah. Plus, easier cleanup time leading up to bedtime routine, also because there's less clutter.
Yes, definitely.
So, I know you have a few more tips about getting kids more relaxed.
Yeah. Um, and so one of the things that has worked really well for us is to use a diffuser in the bedroom with essential oil, and usually we choose
Yeah.
lavender. And
Yeah, my
that,
sister does this. She swears by this. I
yeah,
started using the oils. She had one called, I don't know, it was something about calming, and she rubbed it on her kids' feet. So I have that one, but I don't have a diffuser right now, but maybe I should try that.
yeah. I mean, the kids like it because they'll help set it up and get it ready. So that's
Uh-huh.
part of like their nighttime ritual, I guess.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And so that's really helpful. And then another thing too is sometimes kids keep getting up or whatever. They don't really know how to relax themselves or how to fall asleep themselves. And
Yeah.
so we ended up downloading from Amazon like a guided meditation for kids. And
Yes.
I think it was called Dyna Snores. And
Uh-huh.
it was cute. Like it walks you through like the child is like a dinosaur. So it's like, good night, like you're curled up in the soft sand and really just like walks them through like how to relax their whole body. And
Nice.
it, it's funny because we don't use it all the time, but sometimes the kids will be like, can I listen to the dinosaur thing?
So I learned about kid meditations recently when my husband was traveling more. And so whenever I have both kids by myself, I usually put one down before the other. And that's when I actually do some YouTube meditations for kids. And there's this one channel that I found I really like. And so we just pick one of those and I play that in the room, and it just allows me a little space to deal with the other one, and it actually really works pretty well. So I'll have to check
Yeah,
out
and I think
the audio.
it's great because you're telling or helping the kids figure out what they should be doing and what they can actually do
Right.
rather rather than just like expecting that they know how to relax and fall asleep on their own.
Yeah. Yeah, the younger one isn't so much into the meditations yet, but I think we only tried it once. He definitely is more into, he really wants his 2 books every night.
Yeah.
And the older one, I mean, he's 5, so he sometimes prefers listening to a meditation versus reading a book, which is kind of nice on occasion. So
Yeah.
cool. So do you
Yeah.
have any last tips for anybody or
Yeah. So one other thing, and you had kind of brought it up as far as cleaning up with all the toys before bedtime. I think you should keep in mind like the environment in the bedroom as far as what's in it and what toys
right?
are visible and everything. Um, I know my kids actually share a room, so between
So do
3
mine.
kids, there's like a lot of toys and pieces and all that. And for a while, they were struggling with bedtime. And then I ended up getting cabinets that have doors. And
Perfect.
so now all the toys are like tucked behind those. And it's
Yeah.
so funny because as soon as we set those up, it was like they could fall asleep.
It's amazing, because I don't know if you know my story as an organizer, but I actually come from an environment of like hoarding, and
Oh, wow.
I'm kind of a messy person myself, although I'm super organized, but I've really learned over the last couple years how visually and subconsciously you're burdened by stuff. And just having a clear space works amazingly well. Even taking labels off things could really calm your mind. And I think I learned early on with my kids not to have toys in the room, and our space didn't really allow for it in our early lives, and so we didn't have toys in the room. So that's what I recommend, from an organizer's perspective, if you can, is to keep the toys somewhere else. Or do what you do, which is, try to minimize what's out by rotating or covering them up somehow at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So you don't have that visual stimulation. Yeah, I love it. So what are your thoughts on winding down or like TV time, screen time?
Yeah, that's a big one. I definitely recommend limited screen time at night. Definitely like an hour before bedtime.
Oh,
They
wow.
should
Yeah.
they shouldn't be watching. I
Hmm.
think the recommendation is like even 2 hours before bedtime.
Yeah. I've just heard for adults that you shouldn't have any screen time for like a half an hour before. I didn't know what the recommendations were for children.
Yeah, and I mean, just how it affects their brain and all that. And so the time would be better spent like reading or playing a game, or just even if they want to draw, do something creative is fine
Right.
too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love doing like sensory time in the afternoons, like with Play-Doh or whatever it is. Like I rotate that stuff out and
That's even, I think, a good thing to do before bed. My kids,
Mhm.
I still read out loud to them at night, and they are 7, 10, and 12 now. But they'll
Mhm.
play with like clay or putty even while I'm reading. And I think that sensory stuff just helps relax them.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's been helpful for us.
Mhm.
And just another thing to keep in mind is that when kids go through, developmental changes or have any extra stress in their life, bedtime just might be more difficult
Mhm.
because their brains keep like us as adults. Sometimes that, we have extra stress and it causes us not to sleep as well.
Right.
So just trying to understand that a little bit more, especially with back to school starting up. Um,
Mhm.
that's a big time when kids have trouble winding down because they're just nervous. Or even if you're like going away on vacation and like in those days leading up to it,
Right.
kids might have a hard time winding down. So I feel like those are the times when my kids usually end up asking for the guided meditation because it keeps their brain onto something else.
Yeah. No, we definitely need better techniques when we go on vacation because I feel like the first night on a vacation, the kids are up like ridiculously late.
Yeah.
So maybe, but I think it's because we don't do the same bedtime routine things when we're on the road or, going into
Yeah.
a hotel or whatever.
Yeah. And so if you can keep any of the routine the same, I mean, that's awesome.
Hmm.
Or even just bringing something from home that usually you only use at bedtime
Hmm.
is great. But sometimes that's just what happens on vacation. And so as soon as you get back, just trying to get back into the swing of things as soon as you can gets you back on track quickly, at least.
Yeah. So, Karen, how can people get a hold of you if they want some customized parenting advice?
Sure. Well, they can always find me on social media, of course, but also I work one on one by phone or Skype with parents who want that individual attention. And there's a list, get your child to listen package that I offer. And so we can
Oh,
work
cool.
specifically on how to get your child to cooperate based on, your unique situation and what's going on for you and in your relationship with your child. So um, you definitely don't have to figure out everything all by yourself. And
Yeah, we'll
um,
definitely link to that below.
oh, awesome. Yeah, that's perfect. Thanks, Sarah. And then I know earlier you mentioned about the book rotation, and you were telling me about a course you have that either just came out or is coming out.
Yeah, so I'm really excited because Nest Happy is finally getting out online. So my first mini course is called the Happy Book Nook, and it's the book rotation system that I've implemented in many families' homes, including my own, that's been working really well for the last couple of years. And it's a step-by-step video tutorial on how to set it up. And there's some really exciting bonuses as part of the package. So I'll definitely link to that in the the description below. And I also have a lot of free videos on YouTube and Facebook and all of that stuff too. So we'll link to both of our social media accounts. And we're just so happy that you are empowered a little bit better with the bedtime routine and that you can start implementing some of these tips today.
Great. Thanks for having me, Sarah.
Yeah, no, thanks. This is fun.